Okay, welcome to the show. We're going to make a cocktail that, again, was a forgotten cocktail, or really is a forgotten cocktail. You've heard of the Manhattan, right? Everyone's heard of the Manhattan, one of the most famous and legendary and long serving cocktails that exists. It's over 100 years old, pre Prohibition, just like this cocktail. But did you know, I didn't until today, that there were cocktails named for each of the five boroughs? The Bronx, of course. Staten Island, my brother in law is from the Bronx, and he disagrees that it's one of the five boroughs. He says there's only four. But we're going to make a cocktail called the Bronx, which, as he also points out, any of the other boroughs don't get a the in front of them. But here it is. This cocktail was born in the Waldorf Hotel, not the Waldorf Astoria. The Waldorf Hotel was on the grounds that the Empire State Building sits today. That's how far back this beverage goes. Johnny Salon at the Big Brass Rail Ballroom is said to have created the Bronx cocktail, and it sounded super good. I think we're going to continue the tradition and make another cocktail called Queens, not the Queens, as my brother-in-law has pointed out. And oddly, that cocktail has an apostrophe as if it's Her Majesty. I don't know why. But here's what you're going to need to make the Bronx cocktail. You're going to make it with a London dry gin. We had a little bit of difficulty getting the top off of our Bombay Sapphire. We never had a bottle of Bombay Sapphire, actually, but it's one of the OGs. It's an OG London dry gin. There's Tanqueray, of course. Tanqueray is probably even more juniper forward. This one is infused with a few more botanicals and said to be a little bit more floral. So it's considered the gateway gin for people that say they don't like gin. It's a little softer on the palate, mind you. We're going to go with some sweet vermouth, the red vermouth, and some dry vermouth. And you're going to need some fresh squeezed OJ, proof, just squeezed it, and then some orange bitters. Angostura, but orange bitters, okay? A cocktail glass. And I had one last night. I had a cocktail last night. Imagine that. But it was, you could tell it had been in the freezer, the glass. It makes, honestly, such a huge difference in your cocktail. It was exquisite. I don't have any room in my freezer for anything. So we're going to make do. We're just chilling the glass with some ice cubes in it, which you can do too. A couple of tools you might need. A peeler, just a regular peeler to make a garnish. Now let's get our knife over here. Should have gotten a cutting board. Didn't. We're on it. Knife. You could either use this to make a twist. It's a special garnish knife. Or, you can just use the regular peeler. And I used just my reamer, $5 reamer from the liquor store, or Target probably. Love this thing for when you don't want to bust out the juicing machine. So here we go. In William Boothby's book called The World's Drinks and How to Mix Them in 1908, this cocktail was in it. And it was considered the perfect martini with OJ. And the reason why you want to use a London dry gin, which is probably a little bit more juniper forward than, say, a more modern gin, like one of my favorites, Citadel from France. They've gotten into the gin business in France. Is because you don't want it to be overpowered by the orange juice, okay? But you do you, whatever you got on hand. We went to the liquor store to get some Bombay. So here we go. Bombay. Okay, this is going to be dangerous in the future. I got to figure out how to right my wrong of getting this off. No strength in the wrist, apparently. Okay, we are going to use, let's see, I was going to get a different jigger. But, okay, we're going to need 2 ounces of London Dry into the shaker with ice. We need 1 ounce of OJ. Let's see, where's the 1 ounce? Okay. Spilling all over. And we need a 1/2 ounce of both of the vermouth. Vermouthuses? Who knows? Okay, 1/2 ounce. We're gonna I almost poured it in the wrong vessel. Okay. And you do want to keep all your vermouth in the fridge after you open it. For a while there, I wasn't keeping the sweet red vermouth in the fridge. Oopsie daisy. And a couple of dashes of your orange bitters. And this is a cocktail that is said to be so great that it really should be not forgotten and on more cocktail lists than it is. I don't know if I've ever seen it before. Maybe in a bar in New York, in the Bronx, which, by the way, so these 5 boroughs, they each have neighborhoods within the boroughs, obviously. And some of those cocktails sound good, too. I love a cocktail with a story. And like I said, this one probably goes back to late 1800s, turn of the century. All right, that sounds like it's going to do. We're going to dump out the ice, chill in the glass. And before we, where's the other orange? Here we go. Let me wash it first, because we're just going to get a fresh peel from a room temp citrus. That's the only way to go. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm going to cut it, make it look a little nicer. Trim off the edges. Because half of the cocktail experience is in the way it looks, right? It's got to taste good, but that's why we drink out of a nice glass. It has a little too much pith on it, more than I'd like, but I'm probably going to destroy this peel because I'm manic right now. Okay. And let's see, I just want a little bit more off before we try the Bronx. Here we go. Okay, I can sort of twist it on our finger. Our body heat will warm it up a little bit as we pour it out. Here we go. A lot of pulp in there. You could double strain if you're not a pulp girl or guy. Okay. Yahtzee. Let's see how we do. Okay, so I'm just gonna hanging on the edge. Okay, here we go. Let's try the Bronx cocktail. That's nice. Light, refreshing. You could do that at brunch. Why not? You know, mimosas have had their day. Bellinis had their day. Espresso martinis. I mean, that's so last year. That's great. I love it. Cheers to the Bronx. Cheers to you. Thank you for watching and for all you do. That wasn't intentional. Okay. Mm-hmm.